Mr. Caproni, may I ask you a question? I know I can't be a pilot because of my eyesight. If I'm not a pilot, can I still design airplanes?
Japanese boy. I've been around planes all of my life. You know how many I've flown? None! Not a one! Many can fly airplanes, but I design them. I create airplanes, and so can you.
Almost 35 years to the date, Hayao Miyazaki has released his newest animated feature film, The Wind Rises. It tells the story of an aeronautical engineer named Jiro Horijoshi. He was the main developer behind the infamous Zero fighter plane, which helped Japan dominate the skies during World War II. But it's also a beautiful coming-of-age story that focuses both on his life growing up and his love life. So, Liam, what did you think of The Wind Rises?
I really like The Wind Rises. I don't think I love it, but there's a lot to appreciate, especially because this, 2013 was not a very strong year for animated films.
I agree completely.
And though the thing was for Miyazaki to change his pace with drama, I give him a lot of credit for it.
Yeah.
And it is a mostly engaging film. It's just when you make Spirited Away, when you make Princess Mononoke, Castle Sky, it's really hard to reach that platinum height.
I completely agree with you. One thing I found really interesting is this is his most realistic film yet. Like every other film of his has such a huge element of fantasy behind it. Yet for this film, it's just so realistic. Like, it focuses a lot on World War II without implying too heavily on it. Like, you can tell that they're in the late 1930s, about the time when Hitler rose to power and Japan was invading China, which is why Jiro was needed to develop these new fighter planes. But I like the fact that Hayao Miyazaki, he made it so Jiro didn't want to develop fighter planes. He wanted to just develop airplanes. He didn't want them to be used for war.
Yeah, it's just that's the point of this whole thing, is that he wants to make these beautiful things, and then they're just going to be wasted as kamikaze bomber planes just to be destroyed.
Exactly.
And he's going to be seen as a monster in some cases. I mean, this movie is, the controversy of it coming here is just that whole thing is that he made the planes that attacked Pearl Harbor here and all that stuff, which has made it a difficult sell. I mean, and the movie is PG-13 more because of thematic elements rather than any, like, violent images. But it's there, but it still has, he's still able to get that perspective in there, as well as that cynicism toward Japan and what they were doing.
I agree. Also, another thing I loved about this film is it was just so visually beautiful. I have not seen a film that looked so pretty in such a long time.
Well, every time Miyazaki's films comes out, they're just always just one of the most gorgeous films, even if animation or live action. It's just always just so engaging with the frame and everything. I mean, it's amazing how 2D animated stuff is more engaging than 3D animated stuff. Why do we have to continue with that?
Also, much like his other films, it was very much in the style of the Studio Ghibli art style.
Oh, definitely.
Speaking of which, how did you feel it compared to the rest of his legacy? Personally, I felt it's hovering around number 3 or number 4.
I haven't made an official ranking, and I know technically he's made like 10 films, because my top 3, it's Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, and then I think either Princess Mononoke, Porco Rosso. I mean, it's very tough to put in. Maybe if I see this again more, maybe if I see it again, I might like it more. I'm not exactly sure, but as I said, I mean, this is, it's just good to have animation that's mature, but not like graphic mature or just immature mature. It's just a very simple story that's being used through animation that's supposed to talk about stuff that more than just entertaining kids.
See, my top 3 would have to be Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and then Totoro was number 3, but I feel right now Totoro and Wind Rises are tied because they're both amazing coming-of-age stories with such different thematic things. Like, Totoro is such a kid's film, but at the same time tells such a great story. And if you look at The Wind Rises, it's a beautiful coming-of-age story, but it's such more of an adult film. Also, another reason I love The Wind Rises is because the soundtrack was amazing.
Saishi scores are always a very good highlight. Just the themes, you have the basic like inspiration theme, and then the theme for Naoko?
Naoko, oh yeah, her theme.
Which I think was stronger than the main theme of the film.
Yeah, definitely. So on the infamous Pretentious Film Majors 5-star scale, what would you give The Wind Rises?
4 fishbones out of 5.
4 fishbones out of 5? I'd say personally, 4.5 fishbones. It's not quite the 10 that Spirited Away is, but it's near it.
Yeah, I mean, I know Frozen's going to win Best Animated Film, but really, The Wind Rises should win.
I want it to win so badly.
Come on.
Well, that does it for our discussion on The Wind Rises. Be sure to check out our website, pretentiousfilmmajors.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube.